everyone. Welcome to another episode of my channel. It has been 3 months. Last time I podcast, I think, was in October. Of course, the holidays got away from me and 2021 has started. And so much has been going on. So I wanted to take a little bit and jump on here and do another video for you guys. If you're a new subscriber, new watcher, welcome. I had been podcasting regularly for a couple years, kind of took a little bit of time off, and now I'm back. And while I don't, sort of commit to podcasting on a regular schedule, I just kind of hop on when I can, and I do hope that you keep coming back for more. So like and subscribe if you are interested in kind of continuing to watch some videos. And for others who have been watching for a long time, welcome back. Hope you all had great holidays and are enjoying a hopefully better 2021 for all of us for lots of reasons. So anyway, I'm going to jump into things because this could take a while because I feel like I have a lot to share. I did actually go back to my last podcast just to kind of see where I was on things, like what my whips were and projects that I was planning. I ended up doing, so I always kind of open it up to friends and family that if they want me to make anything for them, to give as gifts, people reach out to me. So I ended up getting fairly busy over the holidays. Some custom orders for woven items, some custom hand-dyed yarn requests that people had, and various knit projects, scarves and hats and mittens and all things like that. So it definitely got pretty busy. So I don't have a lot of those things to show you because obviously they went off to their homes. And then we did do a virtual craft fair. So normally I do one a year that is in person. It was virtual this year. So I did end up putting some of my items up on a website, like not on Etsy, but on a regular website, and did get some people that purchased some things too. So that was exciting. But I do have just a few things to show you, a few finished objects, a few works in progress, and some other kind of random things. So the first finished object, so of course this, I went digging into where I have all of my finished objects to think about what I've actually done since the last podcast, and I never blocked this, nor did I weave in the ends, which isn't surprising because it's me. If you've known me for a while, you know that I don't do that right away. So this is, make sure this is the right side. So this is the Free Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. I had done this before in fingering weight, and at some point she re-released the pattern with DK. So I've been kind of obsessed with doing stuff with DK lately. As you'll see, I've just been kind of all about heavier weight yarns. Also like really destashing a lot of stuff too. So I've kind of obviously collected a lot of yarn over the years. And kind of during 2020, just kind of went through and remembered the yarn I had and patterns that I had planned for it, and just have been just kind of trying to get through stash. And I think that's still kind of another goal for 2021. I'm not necessarily saying I'm not going to buy anything, but that's kind of my plan. I'd love to stash down a little bit. Anyway, so this is it. Love how it came out. So the yarn I use, so the middle variegated color is from Hypnotic Yarn, and it's one of her colors from her Yarnable subscription, which I know I talked a lot about the last time, and I'll actually talk about again later on at near the end of the episode. I don't remember what month this one was in, but the colorway is Don't Be Radicchio, and it's just this beautiful, I'm gonna make sure it's not getting blown out, just this beautiful kind of pink and purple, a little bit of olive and cream, really, really pretty color. For her subscription, I used to get fingering weight, but I've actually recently been getting DK, just kind of for something different. And I love, there's so many 3-colored, again, as you'll see coming up pretty soon, there's a lot of kind of 3-colored DK types of shawls out there. So I've just been kind of trying to accumulate some of that. So the solids, so as many of you know, I started dyeing yarn, I don't even know how long now, a couple years ago, 1.5 years ago. And often when you dye yarn, you end up having like leftover dye. And, I'm not someone who has a big studio. I just dye in my kitchen right now. So I don't have like a lot of the dye colors like pre-mixed and laid out that I can, be specific to like what I need for every skein of yarn. So I end up having leftover dye sometimes. And so I'll just randomly dye a skein of yarn in whatever leftover dye I have. So this was a purple. It's kind of like a very deep, almost brown purple. It's not That's a little bit better of a color from there. So yeah, so I had this color already dyed. Similarly, this peach, it's a little bit of a tonal peach. I had this dyed as well, like just leftover, I don't even know what color it was, probably like a pink that had a little bit of peach left over. So I dyed these two in DK, and then when this skein of yarn came in that month, I was like, oh my God, that goes perfect with the two solids I have. I think the one thing I did different, so this one has a picot bind off, and I actually did it in the purple yarn. I don't think that's called for in the pattern, but I just thought it was a fun way to just kind of bring back that yarn color. Anyway, so I still need to weave in my ends and block it, but I was super excited with kind of how it turned out. It wasn't like a planned knit. I just kind of had those 3 skeins of yarn and was like, what can I make with it? And remembered liking this pattern and hadn't ever done it in DK. Next, so this is a pattern by Joji Locatelli, and she actually just released it yesterday, I think. Today is the 25th of January, so she actually released it yesterday. So I was lucky enough to be able to test knit this for her, which was so much fun, and I loved working on it so much. So this is the Winter Trails cowl. It's a super long cowl. It reminds me of her 3-color cashmere cowl, which was one of the first projects I kind of made with good yarn, and I wear it during winter like all the time. Anyway, so this is it, the Winter Trails cowl. I dyed yarn for this. I dyed my own yarn for this, so if this is something you want to make and you like these colors, just message me and let me know. I'm not like selling them, listing them as kits in my shop, but I'm definitely happy to make them for anyone. So it's just this kind of dark purple, kind of like a cornflower blue, and then a lighter color with kind of the speckles of both of these colors. So it was fun to kind of put these together. I think I did this one in my court cashmere base. So it's really, really soft because there's just kind of a lot of stock in it. Actually, it's almost mostly all, this is like mosaic, and then this has some little bumpy texture to it, but for the most part, it's just that nice flat stock in it. But yeah, so I loved it a lot. So definitely go check that out. She might have a discount going on. I don't know if it was just yesterday or not, but definitely a fun pattern and a nice, again, because the pattern's so easy and mostly so much stockinette, it just goes around and around and around. So anyway, so that one, so I'm happy to finally be able to show that. I was working on that for a while, but actually maybe not since the last podcast. I want to say like November and December is when I was working on that. Okay, and then final finished object. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've definitely already seen this, but if you don't, so this was a new design that I came out with a week ago, 2 weeks ago? No, I think just a week ago. So I designed nothing in 2020. I think the last design I had done was my Shady Winter cowl that I did in December of 2019. I just had no designing mojo. I don't know if sometimes I think I talk about designing on here, but so my day job is in data analysis, so I have a crazy analytical mind. And so when I'm designing something, I usually either have like ideas in my head, I'll sketch some stuff out, but a lot of it I don't really figure out until I kind of start knitting and sort of see where it goes. But then sometimes I have too many ideas and I just like can't visualize it, and then I think a lot about like, well, what will people like and what would people want? And I just overthink all the time, and then I just get frustrated and I'm like, forget it, I'm not going to design anything right now. So I just kind of went through a lot of that in 2020, and with everything that was going on, I don't know, just didn't really have the will or desire to design. I was kind of determined this year. Normally a lot of my years or during the year is consisting of me kind of prepping for my craft fair in the fall, making as many things as I can make to sell. But since I didn't sell that much this year, everything that I kind of made during 2020, I already have in stock for the craft fair. So I don't feel that kind of pressure to like make as many things as possible. So I really do want to focus this next year on designing more, because I do love it, even though it didn't sound that way from my description of it, and making more things for me, like a sweater and things like that. So anyway, so I was so excited about this. I bought this yarn. So the yarn I used is Miss Babs Yowza DK Minis, and it's her mini trio. When they released yarn for kind of the virtual Rhinebeck, I went online, I bought 2 skeins of her. Yeah, I don't have any of that like out to show you guys the stuff that I bought during Rhinebeck, but 2 different skeins of like big Yowza, like variegated speckly colorways. But then I bought this mini trio, and I just knew when I bought it, I'm like, I need to design something with these colorways. I was super drawn to them. So anyway, so I was really excited to do this. As you guys know, I love mosaic knitting. 2 of my designs in 2019 were DK weight mosaic shawls, and so this is another one in a slightly different shape. So this is the Horizon Sunset shawl. Again, made with Miss Bab's Mini Trio. The colorways are Corcoran, Muslin, and Dark Adobe. So when I released this, they actually put, Miss Babs put some of these kits on their website for pre-order. And then I know like some sold out pretty quick, and then they added some more. I haven't looked over the last few days to see if any are left in this colorway. But I think, you know, when they restock, they'll add some more, and there's some other gorgeous colorways. So it is a asymmetrical shawl. So you actually start this way and then go up as far as you can keep going, and then you just kind of cast off. And it's all, so this is, I think I said DK weight because it's Yowza. It's either garter stripes or just this mosaic section right there, like that like stair step. And if you've never done mosaic, it is so easy. Like I told so many people that reached out about this pattern, like that had never done mosaic before. Like I'm not a color work person. I don't like carrying 2 colors of yarn and twisting them and making sure to catch floats. Like that stresses me out a little bit. And mosaic, it's just slip stitches, and you use 1 color per row, and it just creates kind of that look because of the slip stitches. So literally this, I'm trying to like remember all of the stitches, but there is not a single purl stitch on this. It's basically just like increases and knits and slips, like that's it. Anyway, so I absolutely love it. I'm so excited about it. A lot of people purchased it and ended up getting up to, I want to say definitely top 20. I think it was like number 18 on like the hot right now list on Ravelry. Didn't stay there for very long, but it got there within, I think, 24 hours. So that was so exciting to see. So I was just really excited that people loved this. So I had been offering it at a discount when it was released, but I did want to mention, so for all of you that watch my podcast, I do have a special coupon code for my patterns on both Ravelry and Etsy patterns. And that code is BFF20, BFF20. And that gives you 20% off any of my patterns. And it's not like one-time use or anything. So just by watching these videos, God bless you, you can use that code and get a discount off any of my patterns. So if you're interested in this Horizon Sunset. So that's it for my main knitting finished objects. But, so my birthday is January 9th, so it just passed a couple weeks ago. And my dad is someone who always, like, he's not a big fan of money or gift cards. Like, he wants to, like, buy you something that you want. I don't usually think twice about buying things for myself. Like, my husband and I don't have kids. Like, we're able to kind of manage our finances, and we're smart. We don't just purchase anything. But there's not usually a lot of things that, like, we go without if it's something we really feel like we want or need. But my dad always wants to buy, again, something. So I was thinking, and he loves that if it's like something that's knitting related or whatever, like he loves purchasing things for, you know, that he knows I'll enjoy. So if you can see right there, I ended up mentioning to him that's the Addie King size circular knitting machine. It's I think it's either 46 or 48 pins, so it's pretty much designed for like something that would be this big in circumference. And you use it with like DK and worsted weight yarn. So it basically makes like hats and tubes. You can knit flat on it, so you can make panels of things to then seam together. I'm sure I watched some YouTube videos, there's a million different kinds of things that you can make on it. But it's definitely not like a circular sock machine. Like, it's not one of those kind of fancy, awesome sock machines. So I just thought it would be something fun. So it's something I probably wouldn't have purchased for myself. But with the craft fair that I have, I don't really love making hats and mittens and kind of smaller things like that. For whatever reason, I'm just a shawl, scarf knitter. I just find smaller things to just be a little bit tedious. I just don't enjoy it as much. And I always worry a little bit about sizing and like, how do I know that it's going to fit someone? I don't know. That's just kind of me, unfortunately. But I was like, if I could crank out a hat and use leftover yarn, like I have a lot of leftover DK. Oh, I'm going to make sure to show you my DK blanket and my whips. Like that would be super fun. Like I always have a lot of leftover DK yarn. I have tons of like knit picks that I don't use that often, like knit picks, gloss, knit picks, Capra, that I'm like, I could use that stash up like super quick and make some hats. So I got it. So he had it delivered to me. He had it shipped directly to me. I want to say I got it like the week between Christmas and New Year's, like ahead of time before my birthday. And I must have, I think that first day I cranked like 12 hats, just trying to kind of get used to it and play around with it a little bit. So I'm just going to show you a few because they're really fun. So, and these two, like there's tons of reviews. So if any of you are interested in it, there's so many reviews on YouTube and people that have been using it for longer than me that do amazing things. So I'm definitely a newbie at this and don't really have tons of advice to give. But if you have questions, definitely ask me and I'll answer if I can. But sizing is a little tough, like because you only have, I think like, again, it's either 46 or 48 pins. If you think about it like as cast on stitches, you can't really get it bigger or smaller. Like that's your cast on number and it's sort of a set size. So like, yeah, if you use thicker yarn, it'll be a little tighter and more together. If you were to use like sport weight on it, it would be a lot looser and stretchier of a gauge, and how much tension you kind of put on the yarn as you're cranking it affects it too. And then you can obviously do what you want kind of with the vertical of whatever you're creating. But that still doesn't really affect kind of, well, a little bit like the size of the circumference of a hat. Not explaining this well, but it's difficult to know what size you're going to make. So I've just been kind of cranking whatever. I'm not going to put them on my head, but they fit me fairly snug. And I mean, I think I have an average woman's size head, maybe a little bit bigger. And I haven't tried any of these on my husband, and I do want to try some on him just to get a sense of if it'll fit a man. But I think from what I've read, most people feel like it's a little bit more of like teen, small adult size. Okay, so this is my first one to show. So this I made from scraps of 2 different color yarn. The purpley one is from Old Rusted Chair. It's her burlesque colorway, and that was actually left over from my Comfort Fade cardigan by Andrea Mowry. So I just had like a little ball left of that. The gray I think was, I just did the, what's it called? The Rosa shawl by Isabel Kramer. I think I showed that a couple episodes ago. And I had a good amount of leftover of that. So I striped, but I didn't even really pay attention. Like some of these are 4, some are 2, some are 1, some are 3. I just kind of tried to make it a little bit random. And with these, you're basically, oh, see that? Okay, good example. I didn't even know that was on the inside. Then I think I ran out of yarn, and this is leftover Malabrigo Rios in the Tranquilo colorway, I think, which I had from my very first, and this is worsted, the other ones are DK. The very first sweater I made was the worsted boxy by Joji Locatelli. Excuse me. So that's what this was from. So anyway, so I had leftover of that. But what you're basically doing is knitting a big tube and then cinching the 2 ends together and kind of tying the 2 ends together. So it just makes this like double-sided stockinette. So depending upon what you do, it can be reversible if you want. But yeah, so like you knit for like whatever length you want. So this one's obviously super long. So I mean, even if you wanted it to be like a very slouchy hat, you can do that, or fold up the brim. So I just loved how this one came out. Again, like three bits of leftover yarn, and so yeah, you could even do it that way with the other side. The yarn hoarder, she had made tons of hats. I'm sure she still does. She stopped, took a break from podcasting and Instagram, but she's back. She has an episode that she had fairly recently. But I used to love watching all the hats that she would make, and she would do the same, like use random kind of scraps, put them inside if that's the side that people aren't going to wear and you don't even know the difference. Anyway, so that was fun. This one, so this is leftover. This is Malabrigo worsted, I think, which is the very woolly, I don't think it's superwash, single ply. Maybe it's superwash, but it's not merino. I don't know. but I had leftovers of this from gloves I had made for my cousin, and leftover of this from, I think, a hat I had made that someone had ordered from me. And I had more purple, so the inside's all purple, and then this one is just striped. This one I didn't make long enough that I think if you folded it up, it would be pretty small. It'd be probably more of like a kid size wearing it that way. But I think it looks super pretty even without the brim folded up. So that just gives you another example of that. This one I made with leftover Knit Picks Capra. So I just get until I ran out, different colors. And then this one on the inside is a different kind of yarn in tan. And I think this one I'd shown last podcast. I was making my Times a Thief scarf for one of my friends. This was the Cloudborn like merino DK or something. So I had some left over of that. So I did that on the inside. So this one's kind of cool because then it's like a really nice reversible hat with tan and red. And then with it this way. So that one, and then the final hat I'm going to show. So this is crazy scrappy. So I literally had like all of these small amounts of leftover balls of yarn, and I just kind of knit till I ran out. Kind of tried to like make somewhat nice colors next to each other, but it was basically anything and everything. I don't even know what's on the inside. Totally random, which is so fun. So I just thought this was kind of a fun one to do. I haven't blocked any of these. I think I still am, because sometimes the tension's a little like funny and you can sort of see little random things in the yarn. But anyway, so that one was fun. Then I learned how to make headbands where you just make a shorter tube, and then I'm sure you've seen these on Instagram. So many people make them. A lot of people like sell them like officially too. And then you just kind of seam the ends together with a little twist. So that was fun. And then I made one also in this like pink color. So yeah. So that was like my new exciting adventure. I haven't made as much because I literally almost went through any DK leftovers that I had and went bonkers and just knit a million hats. Like I literally have, at least 10 more that I haven't shown you. So it's fun. I think it will be great just to have other items that I can sell at the craft fair that people could be interested in, that I don't have to hand knit myself. But there are ways, mostly like the only thing you really can do is kind of stockinette, like it only makes the knit stitch. But there are ways you can kind of manipulate it to do some purls and drop stitches and things. I haven't really had the patience to take the time to do those kinds of, I've just been having more fun with stripes and stuff like that. Anyway. That is that. Okay, whips. So last time I had shown you the Eclecticity by Cheryl Faust. Haven't made tons of progress on this. Like it was probably this big when I showed you 3 months ago, and now it's just a little bit bigger. It is a fairly easy to remember repeat. But it's the one where like anytime I pick it up, I already forgot what the repeat was. So I need to like go back to the directions and remind myself. And I've been kind of doing so many different things that it hasn't been like my go-to project to pick up. And again, because I don't automatically remember it and I actually have to look up the directions, I tend to not immediately want to knit it. But I'll definitely finish it. I mean, I do like it. It just hasn't been like my priority right now. Anyway, so that one's that. So just wanted to show you, made a little bit of progress. Then I am doing, so this pattern is my own pattern. It is Fahrenheit 113. And it also is a mosaic one that I actually designed a decent long time ago. So it's knit on the bias, so it's knit on a diagonal. You have one color down here with these little kind of garter ridges. Then you have color A and color B in this little slip stitch pattern. Then you add in color C with this slip stitch pattern, and then color D, and then at the end, color D kind of looks solid like this on the bottom. So it only really uses, it uses 4 colors, either GK or worsted, and about 100 yards of each color. So that too is kind of a nice stash buster. And I mean, you could, if you had scrappy stuff, like you could make this super scrappy too, and it doesn't even have to be like this big of sections with just 1 or 2 colors. And I do tell you in the pattern, if you want to make it wider, kind of how many more repeats to do at the beginning, and that kind of thing. So there's definitely, options for this. You could even do it with bulky yarn and just add a couple more, repeats or something, and obviously adjust your needle size. But I am, speaking of needles, using size 8, 5mm. These are Knitter's Pride Zings, which is my go-to. So this yarn, so I am a member of Knit Crate, which is a subscription box, and I know I've talked about them before. I do have a coupon code for them. I don't typically do like unboxings. It's just when I use their yarn, I will talk about it. So if you use, where did it go? BFFW20. That'll get you 20% off your first subscription purchase with them, like the first month. And they always have kind of like a lot of deals going too. Like I think now if you subscribe, you get a couple free skeins of yarn too or something. Like they always have something going on. So I have a link below, which is my affiliate link, and you can use that coupon code if you're interested. I've talked about it before. It's a really flexible subscription where you can skip months that you're not interested in. They show spoilers if you want to know ahead of time whether you want to skip or not. You can choose kind of your color palette so that you don't get a color that you wouldn't be interested in. And they have really good customer service, so I've been super pleased with them. Anyway, so this was actually a fun box. So this was from their membership subscription, and it came with 4 colors. You can't see a lot of the, I don't think I have the white out here, but so that shows you 3 of them. So it actually came with 4 skeins of each of these, and this is a worsted weight. So it came with just about 100 yards of this worsted weight of each of these 4 colors. So it was nice to just have something different that you could do use multiple colors for. So I knew right away, like when I knew the yardage requirement for the scarf of mine, that I wanted to use that. So yeah, so this one speeds right along. Like I was watching TV with my husband on Saturday night, I think. And I mean, I have all this stuff memorized pretty good, so this flying right along on this one. So I'll probably be done that by next podcast for sure. Then the other whip that I have is a new design. So like I said, I'm kind of all about the new designs. This is fingering weight, so it's taking me a little bit longer, and I am the kind of person that I get bored super easy, and especially with fingering weight because it takes a long time. So I've almost turned this more into like a sampler shawl, where I'm changing the types of stitches fairly frequently so that it kind of keeps you interested in, and you want to like keep getting to the next section to see how it looks. So this is a sneak peek because I think I showed a sneak peek on Instagram, and I do have someone who's going to be testing kind of along with me as I finish this. So then hopefully I can release it fairly soon once she's able to kind of get in there and test how most of it's going. This yarn, so I've had this yarn in my stash for a really long time. I think since Rhinebeck 2017 maybe. I think that was the first one I went to. That might have been where I bought it. So this is Primrose Yarn Co. And this is their Adelaide base, which is single ply. The blue I think is Old Tailored Suit, and the other one is Glamping. I don't know if this will really pick it up, but it's just this like creamy white gray base with just these gorgeous speckles. Yeah, I don't think I'm recording this on my iPad, and which isn't ideal and doesn't really focus very well. But I've always loved this colorway. So I've had these 2 forever and wanted to knit something in it, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna design something in it. So this shawl doesn't even have a name yet. I still need to kind of come up with a name, which is kind of one of my favorite parts. So this is it so far. So kind of alternating between the dark color and the speckled color, some mosaic sections in here, some kind of basic garter-ish things. This is another kind of mosaic section there. And then I'm doing like a big section like just in this off-white color because it's so pretty. Like if you can see some of like you can see some of the speckles in there. So yeah, so it's kind of cruising right along. I just think it'll be really pretty and different, typically than stuff I've ever done before, because I don't typically do fingering weight designs. But yeah, so it's just been fun. So anyway, so I'll keep you posted on when this one comes out, but probably within a few weeks, I would hope. If you have any ideas of names, let me know. Pop them below. Then the only final other WIP I did want to show, I'm hoping that I'm not in the middle of a square, but I had started a DK weight Cozy Memories blanket. I don't know when, maybe a year ago was when I bought the needles, because I bought the needles at Rhinebeck in 2020, because I use signature straight needles for these. But I don't know when I started. It might have been after, during COVID. But it's getting so big and it's so exciting. So I do have a fingering weight one of these, but this is already massively bigger than the fingering weight one because it's DK and the squares are larger. So it's so fun. So I've added a lot of squares. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 7 by 7, and I'm kind of starting the next one down below. But I love it, and I'm so excited about it. This is one, at least now, I can kind of see the finish line in terms of hopefully being able to use this at some point, where I feel like the fingering weight one is, I'm gonna be 80 before I finish it and can actually use it. But I only use yarn that I've used in other projects. So obviously I can only make it as fast as I can knit other things, because I'm not using like minis that I've got from people or things like that. But that's just my choice. So it's my own fault if it's gonna take me forever, because that's the choice I made. Okay, that's all my WIPs. I'm also weaving a scarf using Miss Bab's Yowza, which is the first time I've used Yowza to weave with. It is DK weight, so it's coming along really pretty. It's her Funny Papers colorway, which is like based on comics, like it's tons of rainbow colors. So I'm excited to kind of see how that one looks. Okay, what do you want to see next? I'm gonna show you, so I kind of teased this a little bit at my last podcast. So I was lucky enough to have so during COVID, I also started Bridgefield Designs as like a second Etsy shop that I have, where I've been drawing various illustrations and things on my iPad, and then having those illustrations be put onto notions pouches and bags and notebooks and pins and stickers and all of these things. So I started a separate design shop that has all of those little projects and products, and I've shown you that on my last podcast as well. Cheryl of Hypnotic Yarn and her Yarnable subscription, so we worked together to have one of my pins included in her December subscription box. So I was super excited about that. She had sent me a sneak peek of what the yarn was going to look like, and I actually designed the pin kind of around that. So I was really excited. So if any of you were, got it that month, maybe you didn't even know, but that was my pin in there. So I've already opened this, but I do want to show you. So this was the yarn. Here and there. So the colorway name was Ribbon Candy. It's this very kind of pale pink, peachy color, and then just bits of gold and green and red. Very, very Christmassy. The other extra that was included is a pom-pom, I should say. So this is from Jessica's Crochet and Designs. I also went and bought way more pom-poms. Now that I'm knitting those hats, I want to be able to put pom-poms on them. So I'm not going to show those today, but her pom-poms are so pretty. So anyway, so it came with this to go with the Christmas yarn. And then the pin that I designed, and if you follow Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady, I think she showed this when she was doing Vlogmas. So how cute is that? So it's a little pom-pom hat. It's a nice rubber-backed pin, and it's acrylic, so it's very, very lightweight. I do have some of my other pins I have on this bag right here. So they just stay really nice, and they're very lightweight and not like too heavy on your bag. So yeah, so it was so fun to design little color work hat to kind of go with the yarn color and the black pom-pom. So these are available in my shop. I also have this other hat design, which is in red, white, and black, and then this little other heart pin. So that was fun. So it was super fun to be a part of that box. There's a box right there for Yarnable. What else? Talk a little bit about yarn. So I forget when maybe it was October or November that I posted it. have going on right now a Sesame Street Mystery Mini of the Month club. So it started in January, but if you're interested, you can still go in and get, so I'm doing it in 2 kits, I guess. So sort of January to June or July through December, although you can go in and actually pick January through December if you want all 12. So you get 1 mini for each month. They do come individually wrapped. So if you were to order now and say you just order January to June, you would get all 6 and they would each be individually wrapped and tell you kind of what month to open them in. And then similarly for July to December. And they also come with a little extra, which I won't tell you what it is because that's a surprise. And you can also add a full skein. So if you want all 12 minis, you can get that along with a full skein as well, which kind of goes with the whole theme. So they're all based upon different Sesame Street characters. And so January, so I'm going to show you January. If you think you're going to buy it and don't want to be spoiled, look away for a minute, or mute or fast forward. But January's character was Snuffy, and on my Instagram I have kind of what my inspiration photo was, but this is Snuffy. So it's obviously his big brown color, the pink from his big old pink tongue, and then I have some black speckles in there just for his eyelashes, so you know his eyes are super big and you always see his black eyelashes. So I loved this. So this is actually now available in full skeins in my shop. So the way I'm doing it is as every month hits and the new character is revealed, I will then start to sell full skeins of that character in my Etsy shop. So February will be coming up soon, but this is January for Mr. Snuffleupagus. I was a huge Sesame Street kid, so the nostalgia of dyeing all of these have been so fun. Anyway. Then I actually did some dyeing over the weekend, and I have this new color, which isn't even in my shop yet, but I just wanted to show you because it's out. So this colorway, let's see if it's showing good, fairly good, is called Beach Glass, and it's just mixes of dark blue, light blue, some speckled yarn in there, speckled colors in there, kind of like a teal, turquoisey, bluish green. Yeah, I can see that like right there. Anyway, so this is a new color, so I'm really excited about this. And I do have some Valentine's yarn still in my shop. I had posted that on Instagram too. I have the Little Love Notes sock set. I have 2 of those left. And then my Bouquet Toss colorway and Marry Me colorway are also 2 really, really pretty pink themed-ish yarn if you're still looking for yarn to knit any Valentine's Day socks or anything like that. And finally, I think the last thing I did want to say, so going back to Yarnable for a minute. So I also have a coupon code for those subscriptions. I think they're closed right now, but I'm pretty sure that she's opening again for another batch of custom subscribers. You can go to her website. I have a link down below, and sign up to be like notified. So that way when she does open up, you get notified right away and you can sign up. But I do have a coupon code, which is Bridgefield, and that gets you $5 off your first subscription. So check that out. Again, you can choose between DK or fingering, and can kind of skip months, and she does do spoilers too, so if you want to kind of see what's coming. And I'm really excited about February because I think that was a super pretty color. Anyway, sorry, so I wanted to say that. So I just today, this morning, late last night sometime, hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. So I did just post that I'm doing a giveaway. So you do need to go over to Instagram to get all the details and follow me over there since it's specifically an Instagram giveaway. But I did just want to let you know of that. So as part of this giveaway kit, I'm giving away a skein of my yarn. This is the Shatter colorway, which is also one of my favorites. It's this very pretty kind of light powdery cornflower blue with some purple and dark blue speckles. This is my Avenue sock base, which is $75.25. So I'm giving away a skein of that and then a bunch of little things with all my designs. So included will be one of these Notions pouches with my version of Knitting Rules, which doesn't count weaving in ends. I didn't even put block on this, but that would be like way down on my list there. So Notions pouch. The 2 coasters that I have designed, the Sip Sip Knit, both in coffee and wine form. I have these magnets, which say winter, spring, summer, fall, and kind of have typical sort of looks of different objects that you'd be knitting at those times of year. Stickers, so this is my llama, alpaca looking, and it is holographic, so it's kind of fun. I can't really tell much in the light, but you can see all the rainbows in there. That sticker, and then my Knit Happens sticker, which I love because that sheep's just kind of like, meh, it happens. Then you get this pin, which I was talking about, which is the red, white, and black. There's some green color on top of the black, which is really hard to like get on camera, but that's in there. The heart pin that I showed you earlier too, and in there too are like very, I'm not going to be able to focus, but very tiny, like the V, like stockinette stitches, and like lots of different colors in there. And then this, which I don't think I've shown on a podcast, but this is in my shop too, and this is in both pin form and Progress Keeper. These cute little striped socks, which I just love. So this, included in the giveaway is this as a Progress Keeper with a little light bulb marker. But I do also sell these in my shop, and I sell them a little bit bigger size, I think, and as a pin. So if that's something that you're interested in. So anyway, all of these things a winner will be chosen. So go over to Instagram and get all of the details over there. I think that's it. I feel like I flew through things, but I did just have kind of a lot to show. But I'm feeling pretty motivated for 2021 for whatever reason. I'm excited about designing. I'm excited about really kind of shopping my stash and figuring out what I want to make. I did mention last time the Almina sweater, and I just need to wind the yarn and cast on. Like I definitely want to start that. I've been kind of not intentionally putting it off, just it's been in the back of my head. I just haven't done it yet. But I think I want to maybe finish the new shawl design first, just to kind of get that done. Life-wise, like things are still kind of the same. Still working from home. My husband's a teacher. He does most days in school with kind of restrictions and is remote one day. Haven't seen friends or family other than virtually for a very long time. I do have some health conditions, so I'm just being kind of extra careful. And yeah, just not really going out too much other than like, picking up food and groceries like from a drive-up spot and having things delivered and things like that. So I don't know, it's just been kind of cruising along. I'm a little bit of a homebody anyway, so I don't mind just kind of chilling at home and knitting and watching TV. I've binge watched so many shows recently. But I'm definitely looking forward to finally seeing family and giving big old hugs. Just really kind of want to see everyone and go some places. Like my husband and I typically go to Vegas every February, which obviously we're not doing, but we do love going to casinos. So hopefully we'll go to those eventually too. Some places are open. For me, it's kind of like the things I really want to do, I would want to do with no restrictions. And so if obviously restrictions are in place and should be in place, but it just wouldn't be fun for me to kind of do the things I would normally want to do, wearing a mask and whatever. So yeah, just kind of waiting till everyone is healthier and this thing is gone or reasonably gone, that we can kind of get back to normal. But yeah, really not much else going on to talk about. I don't lead a very exciting life. But anyway, so I'm glad to be able to be recording again. Thank you all for joining me. If you ever want to reach out to me, so I do have a lot of information down below this video. All of my projects are on Ravelry. So again, I think there's a link to my projects page or like my profile on Ravelry. If you have any questions about anything that you've seen, all of that is there. My Etsy shops are linked below as well, I think. And you can always message me below if you have any questions or comments, or on Instagram on Ravelry. My email address is bridgefieldfiberworks@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me there. I should say too, so the shawl that I showed you that I'm designing, if you are interested in test knitting it, let me know, reach out somehow. I probably wouldn't wait until you're done test knitting to release it. Like I don't always have test knitters. but even just sending and having you get started and seeing how some of the first few parts go would be helpful. So if that is something that you're interested in, let me know, reach out to me. But other than that, I hope you guys are doing well. Look forward to catching up with you again next time. Keep on knitting, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.